Well, good morning. Welcome to a early morning here in far north Queensland. Lesson 65. My only function is the one God gave me. The idea for today reaffirms your commitment to salvation. My only function is the one God gave me. It also reminds you that you have no other function than this. Both of these thoughts are obviously necessary for a total commitment. All right, so both of these thoughts, my only function is the one God gave me, and I have no other function apart from this. So both of these thoughts are obviously necessary for a total commitment. Salvation cannot be the only purpose you hold while you still cherish others. The full acceptance of salvation as your function necessarily entails two phases: the recognition of salvation as your function and the relinquishment of all the other goals you have invented for yourself. This is the only way in which you can take your rightful place among the saviors of the world. This is the only way in which you can say and mean, my only function is the one God gave me. This is the only way in which you can find peace of mind. Today, and for a number of days to follow, set aside 10 to 15 minutes for a more sustained practice period in which you try to understand and accept what today's idea really means. I'll just stop reading there for a second. That idea, it's like where you try to understand and accept what today's idea really means. So that part of the mind that is being re-educated, let's say, or unlearning to relearn. It's like it takes literally a miracle, which is why this is a course in miracles. It takes literally a miracle to actually hear this, right? Which is why in the Bible Jesus says you have ears but do not hear and eyes but do not see. It's like, man, if you could truly hear this on the deepest level of your consciousness, it's like at some point and at some place, it's like I'm hearing this because there's something in it for me that I recognize on a certain level, right? But the ego, or that part of my mind that's speaking always for the physical, for the external, is what superficiality is. Okay, it's a concerned only with form and not content. So, trying to hear it and allow it in and to actually be able to maintain it, it's a whole thing. It's like, and I know I've done videos where I mention reading this course, and try not to read it as if you're reading a magazine in an airport while you're waiting for a flight or something like that, or at a bus station waiting for a bus, where you're really just interested in killing time, because that's what the ego mind is. It's an idea of time and space and locating yourself somewhere, and that's as far as the ego wants you to go. That's as far as it will allow you to sort of believe of yourself that you need to go. I hope I'm doing a good job of explaining that. But so one of the things that I found that's helpful is to repeat an idea again and again and again and again and again until finally a sense of connection with it occurs. Now, I've only got the one example at the moment of having done that in a way that specifically stands out for me, is when I was sitting one day in session with my teacher, and I can't remember what particularly I was thinking about, and I just heard Jesus speak to me directly. I heard an audible voice, as if there was someone sitting on the desk beside me. I was sitting on a table at the side of the room. There's probably maybe 100 people in the room, 80 people in the room, listening to the talk that was being given. And I just heard this audible voice, which I knew was Jesus' voice. And he said, there's nothing to worry about. So obviously, like I was sitting there worrying about something. And I just knew intrinsically within myself that I should repeat that, or I had to repeat that to myself over and over and over until I got it. Something inside of me just said, Dave, repeat this to yourself. And I did it. And I think I chose to repeat it about 100 times. And I think by about the 60th time, something clicked. Something just went boom in my mind. And it's as if all of a sudden my cup was full again, you know. And so where he says, I've lost the this is the only way in which you can say and mean my only function is the one God gave me. Blah, blah. Anyway, you get the idea of that. I've just lost that line there. I had my finger on it. It's the only way in which you can say and mean it is to relinquish all other goals and claim that one. Anyway, so carry on. Today and for a number of days to follow, set aside 10 to 15 minutes for a more sustained practice period in which you try to, in which you try to understand and accept what today's idea really means. All right, so there you go. Maybe try repeating it until it sort of kicks in. It'll probably tell me at the end. So it offers you escape from all your perceived difficulties. It places the key to the door of peace, which you have closed upon yourself, in your own hands. It gives you the answer to all the searching you have done since time began. Try, if possible, to undertake the daily extended practice periods at approximately the same time each day. Try also to determine this time today in advance and then adhere to it as closely as possible. See, these instructions are very specific. All right, I'm just going to read that again. Try, if possible, to undertake the daily extended practice periods at approximately the same time each day. Try also to determine this time today in advance and then adhere to it as closely as possible. The purpose of this is to arrange your day that you have set apart, so that you have set apart time for God, as well as for all the trivial purposes and goals you will pursue. This is part of the long-range disciplinary training which your mind needs, so that the Holy Spirit can use it consistently for the purpose He shares with you. For this practice period, begin by reviewing the idea for today, then close your eyes. Repeat the idea to yourself once again and watch your mind carefully to catch whatever thoughts cross it. At first, make no attempt to concentrate only on thoughts related to the idea for today. Rather, try to uncover each one that arises to interfere with it. Note each one as it comes to you with as little involvement or concern as possible, dismissing each one by telling yourself, this thought reflects a goal that is preventing me from accepting my only function. After a while, interfering thoughts will become harder to find. Try, however, to continue a minute or so longer, attempting to catch a few of the idle thoughts which escaped your attention before, but do not strain or make undue effort in doing this. Then tell yourself, on this clean slate, let my true function be written for me. You need not use these exact words, but try to get a sense of being willing to have your illusions of purpose replaced by truth. Finally, repeat the idea for today once more and devote the rest of the practice period to trying to focus on its importance to you. The relief its acceptance will bring to you by resolving your conflicts once and for all. Finally, repeat the idea for today once more and devote the rest of the practice period to trying to focus on its importance to you. the relief its acceptance will bring you by resolving your conflicts once and for all, and the extent to which you really want salvation in spite of your own foolish ideas to the contrary. Fools! In the shorter practice periods, which should be undertaken at least once an hour, use this form in applying today's idea. My only function is the one God gave me. I want no other, and I have no other. Sometimes close your eyes as you practice, and sometimes keep them open, and look about you. It is what you see now that will be totally changed when you accept today's idea completely. Some of these sentences in here are really long, so I kind of got lost there a little bit. But anyway, early in the morning. I hope you've enjoyed that lesson and the meaningless view from the veranda here. So we'll do lesson 66 tomorrow, and I love lesson 66, my happiness and my function are one. All these 60s lessons, like the forgiveness lessons, and we're talking about your function, it's like they're incredible lessons. They bring a total sense of purpose. It's not just about that. It's inclusive of the undoing of the way you see, but that installation of purpose is something that, for most people, it's like like when I was a younger man, if I ever was. But in my ideas, let's say, of myself as being a younger man, I struggled to find purpose. I used to find it in trivial and meaningless things, stuff that would have beginnings and endings, and it would always seem pointless to me. What's the point of pursuing this? Because it's just going to end. At some point, I'm just going to die. And these sorts of thoughts would run through my head all the time until they were fever pitch. But the idea that my happiness and my function are one, it's like, how simple is that? Anyway, that's it. I'll do another one tomorrow. God bless.